Hi guys, welcome back to Simple Lab Tech. Today I'll be spinning up a WordPress container using Docker on a Proxmox virtual machine. Then I'll make this website securely available on the internet using a reverse proxy called Cloudflare Tunnel. This is to ensure there is no port forwarding. Don't worry, we'll explain all that in the course of the video. We'll also keep the database private and make sure it is binded to the local host and set the correct site URLs so everything works over HTTPS. Are you excited? Then jump in. Now, there are so many benefits of self-hosting your own website. Some of the benefits are your data stays private, local to you. It means no web hosting can check on it or can have access to your data. Another advantage is you completely control the infrastructure. This means you can decide to scale up or scale down as you want, and there's no extra expense to you. The only expense here is your time that you're going to use. It's completely secure, and I'm personally using this setup for my own website for over a year now, and it has been working great. I can tell you. You just need to make sure you keep on updating, and make sure it is clean. There is no virus on your PC. Then you're good to go. Let's go on ahead. At high level, you're going to need an Ubuntu VM. I've created my own Ubuntu VM on my Proxmox cluster. You're also going to need Docker and Docker Compose. You're also going to need WordPress and MariaDB on Docker. Then you're also going to need Cloudflare Tunnel and HTTPS and proper site URLs. We're going to do everything in this tutorial. So yeah, guys, first things first, this is my Proxmox environment where I'm going to create the virtual machines for the website, and I'm going to start the process of creating the VM. You can just follow through if you want. So first things first, you have to click on create VM here. Click on that, give the VM a name, whatever name you want to give it. I'm going to give it WordPress test. You can decide to add tags if you want, or other options. Then click on next. The ISO image I'm going to use will be the Ubuntu 22.04. You can use other ones if you want. I'm going to use this one for now, and click on next. And you can decide to use also your Kemu agent so that you can get the IP address on the summary page of the VM. I'm just going to skip that for now. I'm going to give it 20 gigs of hard drive space for the VM. It's okay, it's enough. I'm also going to give it 2 cores for this VM, and I'm also going to give it 2 gigs of memory, which is enough for this. And click on next, and yeah, my network is configured. You click on next and finish. So once you do that, you'll be able to see this the VM. You can now start it up by going to the console and click on start now. So once you click on start now, it boots up. Then you try on install. You can see the install process as well, or you can just you can decide to move ahead with it. But I'm just going to skip through all this and show you the install process. At this point, I recommend you give your VM a static IP address. The reason is because if you give it a DHCP address, the DHCP server might assign another IP address to the VM, which might disturb your networking. So based on what you've configured on your router, I'll suggest you give a fixed or a static IP address, which I'm doing right now. Yeah, so now the Ubuntu VM is installing on my Proxmox. This might take a while, so I'll just pause the video and come back when this is done. Now you can see that the Ubuntu operating system has been installed on the virtual machine. Now we can reboot the system by selecting reboot now. And once it's rebooted, I'm going to sign in using SSH to the VM on my terminal. I use WARP terminal, so I'm going to use that terminal to sign into the VM. That way I can now start installing Docker and then every other thing I need to make this website work. So as you can see, my Ubuntu machine is set up, and now I can SSH into it. And the first thing I'm going to do when I SSH is to update the Ubuntu box. That way you're sure you're using the latest library. So here's my terminal, you can see it, and you can now SSH into it using the username at the IP address. You say yes because this is the first time I'm signing into it. Then you put the password, and now I'm logged into the Ubuntu machine on my host. So that way I can, do the commands easily instead of using the shell in Proxmox, which does not allow me to copy and paste. In this, I'm able to copy and paste commands and type in the commands better easily. So the first thing, as I said, is to update the Ubuntu box. So sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade -y. This accepts the prompt that comes out. So do that. It's going to ask you for your password. You type in your password, and it does this thing. It updates the old packages and library in the current version. So this takes about less than a minute or so, and once it's done, although it depends on your network speed, but once this is done, we can now begin installing Docker. So now it's done updating and upgrading. The next thing is to install Docker. And first, before I install Docker, what is Docker? Docker lets us run any kind of application, including WordPress and its database, in isolated containers. What this means in layman's languages, it installs it like it's in its own separate machine or system. This way it is isolated from the Ubuntu system itself. I feel that's the way I can explain it. So by isolation, it means if there's any virus or there's any malware on the WordPress container, it's not going to spread into the system. It's just going to be contained in that container. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So this way it makes it also, when you're using Docker, it makes updates easier. The rollbacks are also cleaner, and there is less host pollution. Now we're going to install Docker, and I'm going to use a command I got on the Docker's website. You can just paste it here. First, let me clear this and paste it here. So this command installs the Docker plugins and everything Docker needs to work. Once it's done, we're going to continue with the setup and move on from there. Now it is done. You can see that it says Docker is completed. Now we're going to add this current user to the Docker group. This way, if you don't add it to the Docker group, you will need to be typing sudo docker ps, which is not advisable. So to add this current user to the Docker group, just paste in the commands here. I'm also going to put these commands in my GitHub so you can easily copy and paste and follow through. Yeah, so we have to install Docker Compose as well. Then after this is done, I'm going to exit from this. Let me clear. Then I'm going to sign in again. Now, if I do docker ps, Docker comes out fine. I can also check the Docker version. I can see that it's on the latest version. So that means Docker is ready, and we can now build a secure WordPress stack. So to build the WordPress stack, let me clear this. To build the WordPress stack, we are going to make a directory for WordPress, and we are also going to change into the directory using this command. And now that I'm in the WordPress Docker directory, I'm going to create a file called .env. Now this file contains all the configurations for the database and for WordPress to work. That way we don't need to put in, or we don't need to add code the configurations in the Docker Compose file itself. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here for you. So now you can change the database to whatever you want. I'm going to leave it as WordPress because this is a test. The MySQL user, I'm going to change it to 20. The password, I'm going to just give it a random password. Let's say I'm just going to give it this password, 2025@2022. Yeah, so I'm going to give it this password. I'm going to do the same password for this place, AMS 2025@2022. This is not my password for any platform, so don't be worried. So for the WordPress URL, once you've gotten your domain in Cloudflare or any other registrar, you can use your WordPress URL here. So I've not installed WordPress anywhere yet. I've not done anything. I'm just setting it up for the first time. So I'm going to do test.test.org. Once you're done with this setup, Control X to save, type Y and enter. We are done with the environment variables for the WordPress container. So the next thing we are going to do now we're going to do the compose file. The compose file, our MariaDB or MySQL is going to be private. WordPress is going to bind to the local host, and we are going to also set WordPress to respect HTTPS behind Cloudflare. So we're going to create what's called a Docker Compose file. So nano docker compose.yml. It opens up the nano editor. You can use any editor of your choice if you are not comfortable with nano, but it opens up the nano editor, and I'm going to paste in the compose file just right here. So I'm going to explain what it all means in a moment. Yeah, so the first thing is the networks. Let's do this. 2, 3, yes. The first thing is the network, and for the network you need to create that for the containers to have private access to each other so that they can talk to each other easily. That's what the network is for, and you see that in most compose files there's always a network for all the services in that stack to communicate with each other. This defines a custom Docker network named WPNet, uses the default bridge driver, and inside the network WordPress can connect to the database using the hostname DB as seen in the services here. So services defines the containers to run, and in this service we have created a database service. In this database service we are running MariaDB 10.11, which is an LTS version. We also told the container to always restart unless stopped. This automatically restarts the container if it crashes or the host reboots, unless you manually stop it. Also, you can see in the environment we created a database and user at startup. The values for this environment is in the env file we created earlier. So this brings in securely the values of those files into your Docker Compose, so it's not being exposed at runtime. Also, we have created some commands for the MariaDB server. Read committed is safe for isolation level for WordPress. The InnoDB flush ensures that data is flushed to disk on every commit. It is safer but slower, so there's a trade-off there. There's also a bin log expire, which expire binary logs after 7 days. This makes sure that the disk is clean. Also, we have the volumes, which stores the database files, so data can survive even when the container restarts. We also have health checks to make sure that the MySQL ping checks if the database is healthy. If it's not healthy, it's going to fail, and if it fails, it means nothing else will be able to start up because it has not reported back as healthy. Then after that, the next service is the WordPress service itself, and we are using the WordPress 6.82 Apache image for WordPress. Also, we have the restart unless stopped, that's same as the database. And now we have a new depends on database condition service healthy. So this ensures that WordPress only starts after the database passes its health check. Then we have the environment. This tells WordPress how to connect to the MariaDB service over the internal network, WPNet. I mean, this is all you need for your website basically. So I'm going to save this and spin up the container. So Ctrl X, Y, and enter. Right. So now we can do docker compose up -d. This pulls down the docker compose files and starts the containers so that we can continue with the process of exposing it to the internet. You can see now that it has created the WordPress network. It has also created the volumes. It has also created the WordPress application itself, and we can see that it's after the database is healthy that it started WordPress. So now we can do a docker compose ps, and we see that both containers are working just fine. They are healthy. That is great. It means we can actually now access our WordPress instance. However, we will not be able to access this because we have told the WordPress that the URL is test.tointest.org. So this means if I decide to use a call command to check, I'm going to get a 302 redirect to this, but I've not set up Cloudflare yet to point to this website. So this is the website here. Yeah, I've not set up Cloudflare to point to the website, so it's not going to work at the moment. So let's continue with the setup to see how to connect Cloudflare to this. So to connect Cloudflare to this, I'm going to move to the main folder structure, the main tree, and I'm going to do a call command that will install the Cloudflare reverse proxy. As I said, I'm going to paste all these commands in my GitHub and also on my website, so you can also see it. So this has been done. I'm now going to use dpkg to install this. You're going to ask for your password and type the password, and now this is done. It has unpacked the file, so I can now do a Cloudflare D version. This shows that Cloudflare D has been installed. Now to continue this installation, I'm going to do Cloudflare D tunnel login. This gives this URL here. With this URL, you have to click on it and it takes you to the browser. It takes you to your browser or your Cloudflare tunnel. This place is going to take you here. So the domain I want to connect is this tointest. So I'm going to click on this and click on authorize. So yes, once you see this, Cloudflare has installed the certificate allowing your origin to create a tunnel on this zone. You can now close the window. So that is done, basically. So after that is done, you can see that it has installed the certificate automatically to the server, and it's connected, it authenticated successfully. So now the next thing would be to create the tunnel on your Cloudflare. I'm going to take it to my Cloudflare to create the tunnel. So this way you see how it works. Yep, so this is my Cloudflare account, and now to create the tunnel, we are going to go to Zero Trust, Networks, Tunnels. So you click on create a tunnel. You click on create a tunnel here, you use Cloudflare D. You can give the tunnel a name. You can say WordPress tunnel. You can give it any name. It's not really important, but give it a name. I gave it WordPress_tunnel. And since we are using Ubuntu, you can use the Debian. So once we are using the Debian, we've installed Cloudflare already, so we can use this. Copy this, go back to your terminal, and paste this. So you can see now that it's installed successfully. Once it's installed, you go back to Cloudflare. And you can see that the connectors shows that it's connected. So you click on next. And now remember that the subdomain is test, doing test. So a DNS record is going to be created. You select the type as HTTP, then you select 8080, 127.0.0.8080. That's what you're going to use, and as the URL for it to connect. And you're going to use this because WordPress is bound to 127.0.0.1 port 8080, and Cloudflare D runs on the same VM, so we target the local host. This keeps the site off your LAN and only reachable via Cloudflare. So this way we are making sure it is secured. Then we click on complete setup. You can see successfully saved the settings for WordPress tunnel. So that way we have now configured it, and we can check the status of Cloudflare D when we go back to the terminal by doing this. Sudo systemctl status Cloudflare D. You can see that it is active and running. So right now, I believe that if you go to the website, it should actually work now. So you can test this. By going to test.test.url. So you can see now that WordPress now works and it is secured using SSL. So you can see it is certificate is valid. You can see it's from Google, so it is secured. So I'm going to go on and install WordPress on the site. I can just say this is a test. The username, I'm going to give it Tony. The password, I'm going to give it 123456 admin at 2025. I'm going to copy this. The email, I'm going to give it a random email. And this, and install WordPress. So now WordPress is installed. If I log in, I can log into WordPress doing the password. And now you can see that I can access the WordPress dashboard, and it is also secure, making sure that all communications are secured here. Now that this is done, I can go to the website and I see the website open up. I can change the appearance, I can do themes, I can add a new theme. Let's say I want to add this Astra theme. I can add it, install the theme, and you can see it's installed, and I can activate. Now if I refresh my website, you can see it has changed. So it is really easy to build this, and I hope this helps. I hope you're able to follow through with this documentation. This way you're able to open your own website without paying for web host. You can self-host it on your own virtual machine. This way you're going to learn a lot about networking, about Docker, about security, so many things like that in this video. I hope you learned a lot, and if you have any questions, you can type it in the comment section. Also, please make sure you like, subscribe to this channel, help us grow. I'm just starting, so let's grow this channel together, and hope to see you next Monday for the latest videos. Have a nice one, guys, and stay safe.